We're now going to look at constants, and constants are a global construct, so they appear directly in the file, and that's why the word appears here in the global selector. So if I type C and then an O, I'm given the frame for a constant, and first of all I must give it a name, and the name must follow the rules for all identifiers. That's to say, constants, variables, parameters, function and procedure names must always begin with a lowercase letter. If I try and begin with an uppercase letter, I will get a parse error. You can see that on the right there. The field has gone red, and I can hover over this question mark to tell me what the rules are for a grammatically correct name. So A, I can use capital letters after that and underscores and numerals, but I can't use punctuation symbols, for example. So tab to the next field, I now need to fill in a literal value. I'll start with the simplest example, perhaps a number, and as soon as I hit enter on that, we can see that it's compiled. And now if I create a main and a print, I can print out A, and again hit enter to compile it, make sure it compiles, and run it, and we can see 3.5 in the console. Now notice here in the statement selector inside main, there is no word constant. You can't create constants inside any other construct. They're always global, and they are always constant. If you were to try to set A to a different value, then you'll be told that's a compile error. You may not mutate, just change a constant value. So we'll just delete that frame. Now, what are the kinds of things that we can put into a constant? Well, I'm going to load up an example now, and I'll just show it in outline mode, which compresses all the constants to just the word constant and their name, and we'll look at them one by one. Well, it can be a numeric value. Here it's a float. This one, maximum number of hits, is an integer value. Here we've got a warning message. It's a good idea to put all your messages in constants so that they can be reused in multiple places. So that's a string, limit reached. You can also put certain kinds of data structures into a constant. So here I've defined a list of 3 types of fruit, a list of string, but it must be an immutable list. And you can see it's an immutable list. You can watch the video on lists versus immutable lists separately, but we can see it's immutable because it's using curly braces. If I were to change that to using square braces, initially I'm getting a parse error because the braces, the ends don't match, but if I were to change that to both ends, we can see that that's not grammatically valid. And again, if I hover here, it will remind me that a literal value can be a literal immutable list, but not a ordinary array list. It also tells me that it can be an immutable dictionary. And here's the next example. The value of the tiles in Scrabble has 26 entries, each of which the key is a single character string, and the value is an integer, and it shows that A is 1 and B is 3, and so forth up to Z having the value 10. In the next example, I'm declaring 3 colors. Those colors are defined as integer values, but I've specified them in hex format. In the next example, I have another immutable dictionary, and here I'm showing that other constants, black and red here, can be used as the values, black, red, red, black. And also for the key, I'm using an enum, even though enums are different to constants, because they are constant and unchangeable. It is possible to use the enum value. So suit clubs is the key here, and black is the value, suit diamonds is the key, and red is the value.